It's nothing but the bad nigga. Ain't getting nothing but the bad nigga. That's all we do it for. It's for the bad nigga. Hey, I'm getting straight to the bag.
So, Will,
What's up, Kev? We're live post game show. Panthers Cowboys lost 30. Was it 30? Let's get this score up real quick, man.
it was 38, what, 38 third? I mean,
38-26. First
yeah.
loss of the season to the Dallas Cowboys. No initial start to this game, I think it came, we had some plays here and there we could have made, but ultimately it just came down to the trenches, man. I thought Dallas just set the tone on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they were able to knock our guys back, get those combo blocks to the second level, and they rushed for 245 yards on our defense, which was number one in the league coming into the game. That really set the tone there on offense. I mean, we gave up 5 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, couldn't protect the quarterback, couldn't get much going in the run game consistently. And it was just, I think that's what it came down to. We did leave some plays on the field here and there, but ultimately, I just think Dallas being able to control the game on both sides of the ball is what ended up being the result of this game. What are your overall thoughts on the game, Kev?
Yeah, well, for me, being a trench guy, I'm definitely for me, that's where it starts and that's where it ends for me. Uh, you know, the trenches definitely is where attitude need to be established heading to this game. There was definitely legit concerns. Dallas coming to this game only had 4 quarterback sacks through 3 games, and just today alone, 5 quarterback sacks, 11 quarterback hits, and I believe they had like 21 quarterback hurries. So, for Sam Donald, who dropped back a total of 39 times, you're talking about 3 quarters of the time, he passed the ball, he's under, some form of quarterback pressure. So for me, Carolina's inability offensively um, to handle the defensive scheme by Dallas, really threw me off, and I had to own up to it. Heading to the game, I remember saying, this has been a Dan Quinn defense. Expect a lot of heavy cover three. Well, obviously, um, he has some cover three principles, but this Dallas team played a lot more aggressive man blitz defense than I was expecting. So, hats off to Dallas for just coming out with a defensive game plan that was going to pretty much harass us for the entire game. Flip the ball on the other side. The Panthers defensive line just for the first time pretty much got manhandled. One of the things I did mention in our pregame earlier this week episode was the fact that Dallas like to come out and play smash mouth defense. Line up. This ain't no zone blocking team. This is a straight. We're gonna double your defensive tackles and we're gonna move and slide them off to your linebackers, and that's what they consistently did throughout the entire game. Dallas averaged a little over 7 yards per carry. Zeke 8, 143 yards on 20 carries. Tony Pollard 8, 67 yards on 10 carries. It was just consistently just a dominating, overwhelming effort, by the Dallas offensive line, which traditionally has, been strong. If any one play was going to symbolize how this day was going to end up, I would say it would be the very first play of the game where we was there but so close, yet it just didn't work out for us. Remember the first play of the game where we came after Dak Prescott and Jermaine Carter almost had the sack, but Zach spun out of it and was able to pick up the first down. When you look back over the game, you look at the final score, 36-28. We was down at one point 33-14, heading into the fourth quarter, and the Panthers began to, make a rally in the fourth quarter. I actually had opportunities to put themselves in a position to possibly even tie the game, but just overall, we got dominated, we got embarrassed, we got humiliated. At the end of the day, yeah, you can look at it as 3-1, but now we're going to really see, now that there's film out on how to attack our defense, which was ranked number one going into the league. We got thoroughly exposed on all levels, so we're going to see what type of coaching what our players, what type of coaching we're going to go through, and what our players are going to, how they're going to respond from being humbled and humiliated.
Right, and the crazy thing is, you look at the halftime score, we're up by a point heading into the third quarter. Then I just think that's when you started to see the wheels kind of come off. They were starting to get pressure on the quarterback. We had 2 interceptions. We had gave up a big play over the top. I thought it was good coverage by CJ on that play. Just an incredible throw, ball placement by Dak, and great catch by Amari Cooper. And then, it just kind of, what was it, 20-0 in only the third quarter? So I think we just kind of got behind. The turnovers will do that to you. I thought the missed field goal hurt as well. Think about when you kick a 54-yard field goal, you miss it, you give another team good field position, and we hadn't been able to stop them all game long. So we just gave them another scoring opportunity with, a short field. So it came down to a few plays that they made we weren't able to make, and I think that's ultimately the difference. You look at the offensive line play. I know that's kind of the theme of the loss today, but I think there's a lot of other areas, we can't excuse as well. I thought the D-line got manhandled. Our defensive front seven, got beaten up a little bit, and that was a big reason why Dallas was able to set the tone today. I think the penalties, hurt us in a few instances on offense as well. Can't have that. And then 2 turnovers. You can't beat teams like this when you're giving the ball away like that. And I think on those 2 interceptions, one of them, it was under a little bit of pressure, but he stepped up in the pocket. He had a clean pocket to throw. It just looked like he didn't see Trayvon Diggs, kind of eyeing him, and looked like he was in robber coverage. I got to see the all 22. It was a good play on by the defense, but still, you have to be more careful with the football. Then on second interception, it looked like he tried to force it to DJ. Trayvon Diggs was anticipating, driving on that underneath route, and he was able to make that pick and get Dallas good field position again. So, I think just that third quarter, we just kind of saw us unravel, couldn't stop them on defense, couldn't protect the quarterback. And the times the quarterback was protected, we didn't take care of the football, and that proved to be the difference, in the game when you look at the score.
Yeah, and for me, this game had a lot of feels. Will, you remember the 2013 divisional round against the 49ers, where some obvious bad calls early that went against us just kind of steamrolled. That's exactly what this game, had me in the mind of. When you think about Dallas's second drive, and we're here to Foreman Rush. We're not one to place the blame on bad calls, because we feel like we should be able to come back and be good enough to execute and overcome. But you just kind of can feel like the momentum definitely came away. On that ball, on that drive, our defense, seemed to have came away with the ball twice. For the love of me, can someone explain to me how they want to call forward progress on that play with Chin? Had a perfect textbook, tackle and forced fumble. You know what I'm saying? But then offensively, when Dallas, continued on that drive, the obvious, pick play that set them free for the touchdown. It was just, as I put it in the Foreman Rush chat, we definitely had to be better than both the players and the calls today. And like I said, it just really gave me that feel of how things got away from us early when we played the 49ers back in the 2013 home divisional game. With with just the obvious bad calls, but at the end of the day, those calls did not affect, how we played in the trenches. Them calls did not affect how we got off the ball. So, um, yeah, it was ugly, but we really want to see what this team is all about moving forward.
Yeah, we just had Smooth join the stream. What were your overall thoughts on the game?
Just things that I had concerns about all year long for the past several years, coming into play. We lost in the trenches on both sides of the ball. I see people on Twitter having issues with Jermaine Carter, but at the same time, how can Jermaine Carter be effective if the defensive tackle in front of him is getting blown off the ball 5 yards? In terms of the offense, same thing. I saw a clip where somebody said Darnold just has to get rid of the ball. Like that's what he got to do. But when you already rattled, you got to go back to the fact what made you rattled. He was under duress all game long. This game, we were waiting for a game like this. I think, Kevin, I have the same view as him. Like I can appreciate it because you need this type of ass whooping to see where you are. We're supposed to be a team that's physical, and we lost in that category. They beat us physically today. So it is what it is. It all starts in the trenches. We had a lot of pretty toys on the outside with corners and receivers and a quarterback that's having a pretty good season. But guess what? All of that got shut down today because of what I've been preaching for the last several years. We haven't properly addressed the trenches. So whenever we face a team that's going to be like this, upper echelon type of team that's good on both sides of the ball in the trenches, this is what the outcome is going to look like. Until we man up, that's all you can really expect.
Yeah, you look at our defensive stats when your two safeties are leading the team in tackles, you're likely not having a good day on defense. I mean, that's going to come down to Dallas getting bodies on your first and second level, and guys like Chin and Sean Chandler having to make these open field tackles on these Dallas running backs. So, I mean, I think it just came down. I mean, it's really not really no fancy strategy about it. I mean, you watch the first few series. I mean, Dallas was just pounding that rock down our throats. I mean, our defensive tackles getting combo block driven back right into our linebackers. I mean, Zeke basically had choices. Zeke and Pollard basically had choices of which hole they wanted to go to. I mean, they got in the open field. I mean, they broke tackles. Guys weren't taking good angles. Just kind of reminded us of our run defense from last year. We were so solid against the run. I mean, it's not like we played bad running teams. I mean, we held Alvin Kamara to 5 yards in New Orleans. It just seems like today Dallas just made up their mind they were going to pound the rock at our undersized defensive line. And then what's the best way? Phil Snow's created with his pressure packages and getting after the quarterback. So what's the best way to go up against that? You just pound the rock down your opponent's throat, run it at those undersized edge rushers, move those guys off the ball. And, that's what we saw today, 245 yards rushing. So let's go back into that early in the game. Did you see like this momentum swing when Jeremy Chin made that stick and the guy fumbled? Did you think that could have been a play that could have changed the outcome of the game, or you think it's just more about whining about the refs?
Me personally, I've been watching football for 30 years. I understand that there's going to be weeks where, especially when you're on the road, you have to go and beat a team and beat the refs. So yeah, that was a momentum swinger. Yeah, it was a terrible call. But if you looked around the NFL today, there's been terrible calls all over the place. You got to be able to man up and travel to a different stadium and beat the team and the refs sometimes. And we went to Dallas today. That's America's team. They always have things slid towards their advantage. So we knew to expect that already. That's why I'm not really surprised, and I'm not going to use that as an excuse. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have rebounded after that. You know what? The refs gave us a bad call. Let's get them out in the next 3 downs. And we didn't do that. So I'm just holding our players accountable, and the coaching was horrendous today. I don't know if you talked about that yet, but the coaching, horrendous.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, especially in close games or games when you're trailing by multiple scores, timeouts become more and more valuable. And I think by early in the fourth quarter, we had already burned 3 timeouts. What do you think of that, Kev? You think that would have, those 3 timeouts would have helped us late down in the game, especially down by 1 score?
I mean, traditionally, you would think that if we would have had access to our 3 timeouts, it would have helped us. But again, when you're getting dominated in the trenches, when you're giving up 7 yards to carry on the rush, I mean, let's just play devil advocates. Let's say that we did have all 3 timeouts when we was down a score. When you look back at, Dallas, when they was, closing out the game, to put it away on us. Let's just look at what happened. First down, Tony Pollard goes for 18 yards. You know, next first down, Zeke Elliott go for 8. So okay, that's 2 timeouts right there. If we got our 2 timeouts right there, then what? You're still dealing with 2nd and 2 at 1 timeout left. They just seem to have been able to maintain to just move the ball. So let's just say we didn't take 2 timeouts and we still had 3 after that. Okay, when Dallas had it 2nd and 2, all right, they got an offsides. I mean, it was offside on the Panthers that made it, go from that made it 2nd and 2. And Ezekiel Elliott 1 yard. Prescott, got an 8-yard pass completion. and then a 2 minute warning. So even if we would have used the time, still had our two timeouts there, it really, in my opinion, looking at how it would, really wouldn't have affected the outcome of the game because on 3rd and 1, what happened? We gave up 5 yards to who was it? Got it? Tony Pollard here. So for me, whether we would have had the three timeouts or not, the way that we had the inability to stop the run, there was no faith that having the timeouts would have changed the outcome. It was just delaying the inevitable, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I get the traditional thinking, yeah, time management and things like that. If we was having a much more competitive game, but the way our run defense was and tackling things like that, um, you know, choose when you're going to use your three timeouts, and Dallas was still picking up, more than enough yards to keep the chains moving, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's a good point to talk about the time management, but that's just one of many blunders from the coaching staff today. The one that I was blown most back by was, it's like third and short for the most part. It was like 33 yards. You're at like their 37, 36 yard line, and you don't have a kicking game, and you still chose to choose a field goal. The only time I would have probably tried to kick a field goal is if me making that field goal would change it to more than a one possession game. If it was up to me, you're talking about Tepper loves analytics. The analytics would tell you punt the ball and have the field position advantage. But you took a risk, kicked the field goal, missed, gave them a short field. That's kind of what changed everything for me. It wasn't the bad fumble call. It was really that. That was really the worst play, the worst coaching I've seen in the game.
I see this comment about the play calling. I actually thought Joe Brady called a pretty good game today. Dallas played a lot of man coverage. I mean, I know Darnold's the quarterback, and people like to give the quarterback all the credit or give the quarterback all the blame. To me, Darnold's good performance is because of Joe Brady, his ability to scheme guys open. When Darnold is off play action, making one read, look how open these wide receivers are. He's not fitting balls in the tight windows or anything like that. He's running these crossers, rub routes against man coverage, against zone coverage. He has multiple options for him, and he's able to find guys in these huge throwing spaces. So it's not. I think Joe Brady's done a great job. Even if you look at on the interception that Darnold threw, Terrace Marshall, when you look at the all-22, he was streaking wide open down the field, wide open. I mean, if Darnold had protection and was able to get another split second, he might have been able to see Terrace Marshall, and that would have been an explosive game-changing play right there. Or even late in the game, Robbie Anderson, wide open. That was a potential touchdown. We just overthrew the ball there. So I think it's not about Joe Brady's play calling. I think it comes down to one, we're not protecting the quarterback, and two, the times the quarterback is protected, we're not making the plays we need to make. So I just think it all comes down to just executing what Joe Brady's going to be able to call. I think he's doing the best he can considering the weaknesses on the offensive line. Saw we tried a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1, got stuffed. Why? Because we can't move people off the ball. So what does he do? Instead of trying to run down their throats, he's going to say, okay, let's try to get a little cute here, do some cutie pie stuff. Hand it to DJ Moore on that wide receiver uh, reverse jet sweep, and, that was a good way to take advantage of, not being able to move people. So we got to finesse them. So I think Brady's overall, I think he's been just as, if not as valuable as Phil Snow, but I think he's really showing his worth this season, trying to scheme around these offensive line deficiencies. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, well, for me, I think that fans who have players or coaches that they don't like are particularly, from what I've seen on both Twitter, Facebook, that's where they're placing blame. If you're not a fan of Joe Brady, you want to blame Joe Brady for what happened today. If you're not a fan of Sam Darnold, you wanna blame Sam Darnold for it. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody got fingerprints on this loss. There's nobody from the top where it starts, Matt Rule, down to the 53rd or 53 man. I don't know if we elevated anybody up before the game uh, to play, but at the end of the day, um, for me, it was just completely just blown out. Like you said, Joe Brady. Like when you go back and watch the film, as you state. I mean, I could, even though I was paying attention to trenches, but I was looking a little bit more, and I was just seeing players, streaking by like, man, there you go, man. If he only would have had it, So, I mean, but when certain fans have it out for a player or coach that they don't particularly care for, they're going to fixate it where that, okay, yeah, this is the reason why we lost because it was play calling, or man, he had on the ball too long, man. Why he ain't just throw it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, when Sam Darnold took a couple of sacks, before the end of the half, yeah, I get it. We were backed up. Nobody likes giving up sacks, but would you rather him try to force it and to try to make something that wasn't there? Um, I just want there to be accountability. Like if you're wrong and you messed up, that's fine. But to have it prefixed in your mind that, okay, I don't really care for this coach, so if something don't win, I got to finger point and blame it at him or with a player. I just saw that. I just see that a lot amongst Panther fans here today. When the film comes out and shows that it was actually totally different.
And looks like Bill is, following up on my original point. You go right back to coaching blunders. What was going on with the 12th man on the field? You watched your head football coach make that mistake. Your head football coach pushed that man into the game. All the mistakes that we made today is like Kevin said, everybody's fingerprints on it, but everything starts up top. It starts from you not properly addressing the offensive line to your coach being in in-game situations, and multiple times throughout his tenure here, you're seeing him make mistakes, like high school mistakes sometimes.
Actually, that was actually planned because what you had, I think it was 2nd and 2, and the clock's running, and the play clock was 40 seconds. So by being able to have the 12th man out there, you give them the first down and you stop the clock. So now the clock is stopped, and you have 3 more downs to stop them. So we're saying we have a better chance of, having them go 1st and 10 and keeping that 40 seconds than having to stop them on the 2nd and 2. It's kind of something. Remember, if y'all remember, Mike Vrabel did something similar last year where he took a penalty to stop the clock. It's kind of a glitch in the rules that way.
I didn't realize that stops the clock. That's
yeah,
all.
he was trying to stop the clock. So I mean, it's kind of a glitch in the rules he kind of put out there. So I think that was a 12-man thing was intentional. But I mean, we had our timeouts though, then you wouldn't have to do that in the first place. But I think that was kind of rules thinking on that one.
Right. And then if you go back to the point of why you don't have the timeouts, did y'all not feel like it was a lack of urgency when you're down like you are? Like, why are you waiting till the play clock is getting down to 3, 2, 1 seconds left? Like, shouldn't there be some urgency? Where's the no huddle? Where's guys wanting to move the ball down the field? I didn't see that at all.
That dates back to last year. You saw us, I think even last year with Teddy at quarterback, where the plays were getting in so late. Even you just saw no urgency during game time situations. So that's definitely something I think we got to improve. It's easy when you're playing ahead and everything's going right, but when you we're in these close games where you have to stage a comeback, those small things like that mean more. So I definitely want to see better execution down the stretch from both the coaching staff and the players.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's obviously can't go situational football, and it just kind of makes me wonder. And like I said, we're not there, so it's easy for us to speculate as fans. We've heard Matt Rule say on numerous times that they practice being in chaos and things of that nature. So being chaotic situations. I mean, you know,
I
I
can't
don't.
tell. I can't tell.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say it makes it hard for us. That's why I say it makes it hard for fans not to speculate if that. You say one thing, but we're seeing the results of another. So, again, I want to see how much accountability after they go back and watch the film. Will come out of this. From coaching, because definitely I see that. Like I said, Rule is the head coach, and he makes the final call on on who comes up and who's playing and things like that. So, um, uh, I get it. It's year 2, but certain things that you want to be more advanced in and not be partaking in than these same similar situations, which bring up the ghost of 2020 for this team. Um, 3-0 hides a lot of things, but again, if there was ever to be a loss to really, quote, shake your shit up. This is the one. So I'm gonna be real paying attention to real how the players come back in practice and come out things like that. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of fell into the trap, man. If we would have had McCaffrey today, man, it could have been a different outcome. Could have been, yeah, I would
Yeah, it
think
would have
so.
been because Kev, you
You
would have
know,
had somebody making plays on their own. You would have. That's what the difference would have been.
right? Yeah, because a lot of times when he was quote hanging on too long, would it have been time? But hopefully, we get our stuff together. Like that told Brady week one, we'll see you down the line. I love to come back and see this team again healthy. Again down the line too. You can't tell me that um, they were that they were this much better. But obviously, if we see them down the line again, we also got to get better line play because now the film is out around the league. You want to get this, you want to get at Carolina. This is the blueprint. This is what you do. The NFL is a copycat league, so with next week opponent the Eagles coming up, another NFC East team. Don't be surprised if they don't try to do some of the same looks and pressures, and try to apply it, to us to see. Okay, let's see if Dallas is on to something.
And they
You
got
know,
better defensive tackles than the Cowboys. Fletcher Cox is a grown man.
oh yeah, definitely a grown man, definitely. So we're gonna find out quick, like I say, quick, fast, in a hurry. What these coaches are about and what these players going about because after Super Bowl 50, I kept saying it, the Denver blueprint and what teams did for us for 2 years. They copycat and they did exactly that in different forms, with us. So I'm just curious to see how we bounce back from this.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. I mean, I agree to the sentiment that McCaffrey and J.C. Horn are both impact players, but I mean Dallas is missing DeMarcus Lawrence and Lael Collins, so I mean we just got to have that next man up mentality, and that's how good teams are able to be consistent and win throughout the year, and hopefully we get healthy down for that December stretch. Now I got to address this comment. We like you, Stephen. We appreciate your support, but no, we're not trading Robbie Anderson. I mean, Robbie, if you look at he's not as productive as he was last year, but Robbie's getting open. I mean, there are probably 2 or 3 times, even since the week one, I want to say, but Robbie is, open downfield, but it's because one, I don't think we're protecting the quarterback, and two, the times he is protected, he's either not seeing them, he's anticipating pressure and has a clock in his head and takes a safer throw instead of trying to stretch the field with Robbie. Or you see, like today, he had protection and he just missed Robbie over top. So I just think we have to do a better job of one, protecting the QB, and two, when the QB is protected, he needs to be more accurate on downfield passes to Robbie Anderson. So, I think those are going to come as we get through the season. I mean, he's too explosive of a player not to make an impact, but I think I do want to see more production out of him
I want to
coming
address that
throughout
too.
the year, man. Okay, go ahead.
The thing about Robbie is, like CMC, he's also used as a decoy. He keeps the defense from loading the box on us. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that he does well aren't going to show up in the box score. I think he's very, very valuable to this football team, and I wouldn't think about trading him. And y'all know how bad I wanted a new offensive line. I just don't think that's the avenue I would take. Robbie got paid for a reason. He's very important to what we do on this offense.
Yeah, and even with that suggestion that trade, I mean, one, that's not enough value to get back close to a first round pick to get to first round blue chip offensive lineman. So like I said, Steve, we love you, appreciate you, but that scenario just that's not even an applicable scenario that would even apply because one, with the new contract extension, we would eat a ton of dead cap, which I'm tired of us doing, by trading a Robbie Anderson or whatever. So and then two, okay, outside of DJ Moore, what other wide receiver would step up that would provide the type of effect on the play that Robbie is doing? Because just because it's not been showed on the stats, doesn't mean he's not having impact. You know.
And he blocks well downfield. On a big DJ Moore play today, he was right down the field blocking. Robbie plays hard every play. He's my favorite player on the team. So I can't see that. I can't see trying to move him right now.
Because he even I mean, it's been many times when DJ has big plays. There's two defenders following Robbie as well. So again, we have to not fall in love with the stat sheet and as far as the determining impact of a player, because it's so much that doesn't get recorded by the stats that the impact is made that fans don't see until it's actually pointed out. And that's where we step in. So we'll definitely make sure when the when the information is available to us to point out examples of look, hey, this is what didn't show in the game, but this is what actually happened. You know.
Okay, my biggest issue with the defense was the missed tackles. I know Franklin did miss one assignment. It was a play action pass, and the tight end leaked out, and he didn't. He was in man coverage, had responsibility for that tight end. The second play, though, I'm not sure because it looked like he was guarding the flat defender, and AJ Bouye didn't carry the receiver on the vertical route. So I think that might have been a miscommunication. It might have been Franklin's guy. I'm not sure, but I don't know if both touchdowns were on him. I think one was on him. The other one, it could have been either him or AJ. I have to watch and see what the assignments were. Because if you watch him, he looks like he's focused on the flat, the tight end that was going to the flat, and they kind of ran kind of a man beater there, and somebody didn't carry the vertical route into the end zone. So I'm not sure if both were on him. He did make a good pass breakup on the end zone earlier in the game. He took a tough angle on Zeke on one of those runs, but I mean, Zeke's a good open field runner as well. But I mean, he's a young player. I mean, I'm still high on him. It's good to see him getting reps, and I think he'll continue to get better as the season goes on.
Look, while we on the secondary, can we talk about a little bit of positive? I think if everybody would have played like Dante Jackson today, we probably would have got a W. To be honest with you, if you look at CD Lamb, who he was on most of the game, 5 targets, 2 catches, 13 yards. And I just want to bring that up because Dante has so many haters. Like, I know he made a lot of mistakes, but he's also fairly young, just growing into his role. And now he's the leader of that room. I think that week 1 through 4, he's been showing exactly what he is, the leader of that room. I just want to give him some credit because he played an outstanding football game today.
Used a good pick on Marshall Jr. when there was good O-line available. Actually, I don't think it was the Marshall pick that prevented us from getting a good offensive lineman in the draft. I think it was trading back too far to down to the late 3rd round with Brady Christensen and Tommy Tremble. Those picks were the ones where we traded back. I think whether we traded back or not, we would have still got Marshall and still could have got an offensive lineman like Wyatt Davis or
Wyatt Davis, you had Creed Humphrey. You had it was a ton of talent in that 3rd round alone. It was a ton of talent that you passed on. Like, I'm never going to forget that front office for that. I'm never going to do it because when you scouting prospects, it's hard to find a ton of great players that you like. I never really had this many offensive linemen that I admired in one draft class. Like, not 1st round picks, but like day 2, day 3 picks. It was a lot of talent out there, and we got none of it. Like I said earlier, it starts up front. It starts up top. It starts at the front office.
Right. And I mean, you look at Terrace Marshall, I saw him open downfield 2 or 3 times today. I mean, one, we threw the interception to Trayvon Diggs, and another one, I just think was the good play by the defensive. Oh, no, one, Trayvon Diggs got the interception, and 2, I just think, Darnold, they don't not have the same chemistry yet, but he had to anticipate him breaking on that out route, throw the ball before he comes out of his break instead of waiting for him to make his cut and make the throw. So, I mean, you don't see it in the stat book, but I think Marshall is doing a good job of getting open, and he's been more involved in the offense. But it's hard to use all these weapons when you can't protect your quarterback. I mean, that's what it's going to ultimately come down to.
Yeah, and since we talk about secondary, let's talk a little bit about the touchdown given up by C.J. Henderson. I know a lot of fans were enraged and talking this nonsense. That was good coverage. It was just a hell of a pass to be good coverage. From what I'm saying. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm Will and even Smooth. I think y'all have more. Y'all were longer on the intricacies of secondary play and coverage more than me. But when I went back and when I kept seeing the replays over and over, that was just a hell of a on time pass by Dak Pratt. I think it was just a case of good coverage being beat by a great pass. Y'all can elaborate, whether that's true or not. But for the ones that want to roast, man, this is what we traded for. Man, look at he done came in and gave up a touchdown. I just was like, are y'all really watching what took place, that was just from my vantage point.
Yeah, I mean, one, Amari Cooper is an elite wide receiver, so let's not sleep on that. I mean, Dak Prescott was a perfectly placed throw. I mean, when you're a corner man and a team, you can't be on one hand say, "Oh, why are we playing this soft cover three? Why aren't we challenging receivers? Yada yada yada." Now, when we play more man coverage, yeah, if you're taking more risks and guys are gonna have their W's, they're gonna have their L's. So I mean, it comes with the territory. But when you have a perfectly placed ball like that, that's what your goal as a corner is to make the quarterback's throw as tough as possible. And I mean, Dak put the ball where only his guy could get it. I mean, it was a well-placed pass. I thought the coverage was good. He was right there. He had his hand out trying to make the play, but I mean, the ball was just outside shoulder right in the end zone, and Coop did a good job of getting his hands down. Your opponents get paid to make plays too. So I mean, sometimes you just got to live with it. But I don't think that's the reason we lost this game. I mean, it shouldn't have come down to that in the first place.
A couple of years ago on primetime, we played the Steelers, and I think a young Dante Jackson gave up a similar play like that to Antonio Brown. Like I don't think people understand how young CJ is. He's still learning. Little subtle things giving a receiver an advantage. Like, I don't know if y'all saw it, but it was like a slight little nudge just to give him that extra 2 inches of separation. That was a good play by Amari Cooper, man. It is what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and this guy just got here, just learning the playbook. Give him some time. I didn't even want to talk about that. I thought that was like a non-issue. Everybody with a common brain should understand that we just traded for this guy. He got a half week of practice, and he's thrown into the game. Like I expected mistakes, honestly.
Yeah, covering Amari Cooper on his first third day in the building. I mean, that's admirable to me. When you think about, look at the other side of the ball. Trayvon Diggs and DJ Moore. DJ got his wins, but push come to shove, Trayvon Diggs said, "All right, I see what you're doing." Threw that curl route to DJ Moore. Trayvon Diggs hopped it, got one on him. It's a back and forth battle, man. That's what football is all about. Guys out there competing. You get your wins, you get your L's, and you move on. So, it's nothing to me.
Yeah, I mean, our fans keep realize, just because we're cheering our team, the other team, they're paid to make, like you always like to say, they're paid to make plays too. We're not going to just go out there and just have a total dominance, no matter how well we play. So many times you see a well-designed play or whatever just simply not work because, the other team was just, prepared and better for it. And like that last comment you just had up, what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, we did come up short. We played hard. We fought. I didn't care for a lot of fans giving up when it was 33-14. I'm going to cut this game off and stuff like that. So what we yelling, keep pounding for? You know what I'm saying? Is that only when we're up and when we're in control? I like the fact that, in spite of the mistakes, in spite of all of that, what I'm saying, we fought like hell, man. Matt Rule don't have no quitters over there. We may have got outmatched. We may have made mistakes. But through it all, I didn't see not one player's head down on the sideline when we was down 14, when we was down 33-14. I saw players, talking and, look like on the sideline, having group huddles or whatever to get it up, man. And I just saw a team that somehow, some way, was trying to, make a game of it. And until that last Dallas drive, I mean, we have put ourselves possibly in position to, like I said, have a chance to potentially tie the score. So I just love the fact that we ain't let this thing really steamroll and be one of those, 49-14 type of games, which it could have easily been. So yeah, ain't no quitters over in Carolina. It was an ugly day, but it's not because we, gave up and just rolled over when things didn't go our way.
Brandon, I think Xander Zis getting plenty of snaps. He's made a lot of plays this year for us. Seeming to be a good undrafted free agent pickup. I think he'll continue to get more snaps as the year goes on if he keeps playing the way he does. Don't get me started. I don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna let y'all handle that one.
Yeah, we got Sunday night football to watch tonight. I'm not talking about nothing I've been beaten down for several years. This Cam Irvin, I've been beaten down for a whole half a year, so I'm good. We don't have to talk much about
I don't want to talk about him right now.
We know what it is. Like we know what it is.
I plead the fifth on that comment.
Well, let me ask this real quick. Not
Still
Irvin,
love you, Mary. It is what it is, Mary. We ain't nothing to talk about.
Right. Yeah, but Paradise was ass. You know what I'm saying? That was just him. As far as
Daly
Daly
was ass. Moulton took his L's. Miller had a couple. He had a holding penalty. Not one guy was great today. Like I don't.
I mean,
The whole
Dallas
team was
coaches.
Basuda.
When I saw Cam Irving get beat, he took the Dallas helmet, took the guy's helmet, tore it off. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Dallas's coach was too dumb to take the 2nd and 27. He declined the penalty and helped us out. I'm like,
Right,
what are
right.
you
That
doing, bro? Cam Irving ripped his helmet off after he got beat. I'm like, should have been
Well, look,
2nd and 27. I'm just thankful Mike McCarthy's a goofball, but man,
that's what's gonna hold Dallas back. They got Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn calling plays out there, bro. They talented. They ain't gonna last long. That shit gonna fizzle out.
like Stephen A. like say, just wait.
It's gonna fizzle out. You got Dan Quinn out there, bro. I ain't too much worried about them. They got us today. I just want to see him in January or February now, since we got the extra game.
outside of the TD, how did CJ Henderson do today? I wouldn't worry about that right now. I mean, PFF grades probably not going to be very good because of the touchdown and all of that. So people are going to say what they're going to say. But what you noticed when they put CJ in, he was lined up on our sideline. Why? Because the coaches had to literally tell him what the play was, what to do. So they wanted to keep him close to them so they can say, so he can speak his language. He doesn't really had enough time to really understand how we play defense. So they put him in on certain situations, and then, they tell him, we're in cover one, you're in man coverage, we're in cover three. He knows cover three ever since high school, so he knows what to do. They really kept it simple, kept him near our sideline so they could relay him his responsibility and what the defense was. So I liked how they worked him in slowly today, but it's a learning process. So I'm not really ready to evaluate him just yet. So I think that's a to be determined type of question right there. I noticed in the last 3 games specifically, Darnold is yet to complete a deep pass to the left side of the field. I think I agree with that. I mean, I think a part of it is we can't protect him and there's not enough time to throw in certain situations, but I do think he has to be better at the same time with his downfield accuracy. I think at times when he does throw the ball downfield, he's not giving his guy a chance to make a play on the ball. Like, I mean, Robbie Anderson should have had a deep ball touchdown today. And then, we overthrew that one. But I mean, I just think when quarterbacks anticipate pressure, it affects their accuracy. So I don't think he's just comfortable in the pocket yet because he's looking at the rush and more worried about who's he going to have to move and sidestep and avoid rather than, making an accurate throw downfield. So I think all of that kind of goes hand in hand.
Well, the biggest thing about that, that's a good point that he's making. Honestly, we had Cam for years. Most of his errant throws were about mechanics, right? Mechanically, throwing to the left, you have to kind of step into that throw. It's going to be kind of hard to step into that throw when I would say 80% of the pressure that you see on a down-to-down basis comes from that left side. The whole line is trash, but it's abysmal on the left side. So I wouldn't, if you would have told me that with my eyes closed, I would believe you 100% that Darnold is struggling throwing to the left side of the field because the left side of your offensive line is the worst side of the offensive line. That's just what it is.
Given how the Cowboys came out in the third and dominated us on both sides of the ball. See, that gets back to the comment with me too. I don't think we were out coached. I think we were out physical. I think guys were in position. They just weren't making plays. We couldn't protect. I think we kind of touched on a lot of those plays we left on the field today. Defense is simple. Run defense is, this is my gap. You can't have Phil Snow and, Evan Cooper come out there and, have gap control for guys. They got to, defensive linemen need to buckle down and protect the linebackers. Linebackers got to scrape, make plays, and, make tackles. And I don't think we did that. Took poor angles, missed tackles, got blown off the ball. Offensively, 11 hits, quarterback pressures. What more can the coaching staff really do when players aren't going to execute?
Yeah, because what part of practice do they practice? Okay, all right, we're gonna practice how we can make this play when Derek Brown gets pushed back 5 yards into our linebackers, or what I'm saying, or when teams run power, at our 240-pound, defensive ends, things like that. To say out coached, that really just yeah, I'm with you, Will. That for on those aspects of it, it just doesn't fly with me. I can't, you just can't tell me that what was seen on the field is what they actually practice. It's just the fact that whatever was emulated during the week, whenever the physics matched the X's and O's, when you actually got Zach Martin blocking you instead of who would have been someone like a Dennis Daly in practice blocking you, there's a hell of a difference. Now Dennis Daly probably made the exact same steps and reach and everything else, but when it's the actual real thing, it's totally different. Just like for them, who on that team can match what Brian Burns do stimulating in practice? So it's just a matter of when you meet the reality of what you've been practicing all week, you're gonna have to make your adjustments because obviously, the speed of the game and the intensity and the moves of it is going to be different than what you practice.
Dallas played off coverage to the fourth quarter. I mean, that's smart football, though. We had no timeout. So, Trayvon Diggs went to the bench. They were just resting him. They call it player management, I guess, with the 17-game season. So they just kind of played off coverage, let us march the ball, milk the clock. And they knew we had no timeouts left. That's just smart football. That's why you just got to keep the game close and not let it get to that point. But I still think, we did a good job driving the ball, getting it down to one score, and potentially giving ourselves the best chance we could, trying to tie the game. But that was kind of disrespectful, benching Diggs in that fourth quarter just to rest him. Luckily we took advantage of that, though. Third quarter has been a problem all season so far. And I think in every case of that, it's execution. It just seems like we just do a poor job of protecting the quarterback. I think ever since the Jets game, ever since, look at the third quarter, Darnold's under pressure. And when he's under pressure, that's when he makes mistakes. That's when we give up sacks, and turn the ball over. So
then we come out the third, then we had a halftime and the offensive line had a penalty right away.
Right.
Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, we sure did. Yeah, it was on Dennis Daly. Yeah, it was let's see, it was Chuba Hubbard had came out and ran for 7 yards, and Dennis Daly got called for holding.
Right.
So, there it is, right there.
Can't believe how Brown and others were getting. Now look, Derek Brown took his losses today, but that's Zach Martin, though. You're talking about the best guard. If Derek Brown wants to be in that realm of Aaron Donald and Fletcher Cox, he's going to have to. These are the games where you show that you're on that level, but at the same time, he's a top 10 pick. We want him to be at that level one day. But Zach Martin been in this league for years. He's probably the best guard in the NFL right now. Maybe
don't disrespect Quentin Nelson like that, bro.
No, second best. He has an argument. They're both good in their own right, but Nelson on IR now, though. But
hey, Frank Ragnar can play guard too, bro. You better watch your mouth, man.
Right. Yeah, you got him too. Michael Jones, appreciate you for that super chat. What happened to Reddick today? I thought Dallas did a good job of neutralizing him. They ran at him, and that's not his strength ever since he was with the Cardinals. I think, when you look at, we talk about how well their interior offensive line played today. Look at how well their tackles and tight ends blocked as well. A lot of those runs by Ezekiel Elliott were off tackle. So I think they took advantage of our undersized, fast, athletic edge rushers and wanted to make that an emphasis on, best way to neutralize an edge rusher is to run at them. And I think that's what they were able to do with Hassan Reddick today. Not only that, look at these stats. Dak only threw the ball 22 times. So how effective is your pass rush going to be when the team's not really going to be throwing the ball that much? He threw 4 touchdown passes on 188 yards, and one of those was a big, 35-yard pass to Amari Cooper. So if you take that away, what was they really doing? Dak was getting the ball out fast. That's one way you neutralize the pass rush. We played a lot of man coverage, so if the rush wouldn't get there, Dak did a good job of stepping out of the pocket and running while the cornerbacks and DBs had their backs turned. It's another way to neutralize man pass rush. So I just think they did a good job of neutralizing them today. Plus, when you get the run game going, that's how you neutralize a great athletic pass rushing team like the Panthers. Phil Snow's pressure packages were basically useless at that point.
Reddick wasn't 100% either, man. He was nicked up. He took a few plays off.
He did get hurt.
Yeah, when you're giving up 7.2 yards a carry, you don't have to pass the ball, more than 22 times. Second and third, what? I mean, you don't need big huge chunks of passing when you're getting set up like that.
Sam played well today. Yeah, overall, I thought he had a efficient game. I just think when you're playing from behind and you're under pressure, you try to press it a little bit too much, and I think that's what happened on those two turnovers. But overall, play by play, I think guys had their ups and downs all day. Can't believe that. Watch our O line try to block. I guess what choices do they really have though? I know a lot of fans want to see, what do we have with Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen. But I mean, are they much better options? I mean, Kevin Smooth can probably answer that better than me. Are they ready to play now?
No, not Brady Christensen. That's not in my opinion. He ain't no better than what we putting out there every Sunday. And I told y'all before, not Derek, Deontay Brown has a lot of work to do with pass set. So he might be effective coming in and helping us run the ball better, but in those passing down situations, he's a liability. So I don't think there's really an upgrade on the roster. I think any kind of upgrade, we're going to have to go out in free agency or make a trade with someone.
Yeah, let Kev handle.
Yeah, man. This is my high school teammate. This is my right tackle. 6'6", about 330 pounds. My brother from another mother. Uh, my boy Wayne Burdette Curry. He diehard Cowboys fan, has been since we've been in school. So, this goes way back to the '90s for me, man. But yeah, Burdette, congratulations on your team. I'm in Facebook jail, so that's why I couldn't comment. I get out of jail Friday morning. That's another subject for another day. But yeah, man, that's just my brother right there. Just give me a hard time. His Cowboys won. He talk when they win, but when they quiet, can't find them.
This coming from a fan since the 90s. I'm telling you, Darnold isn't the answer in this O line. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, so I'm not going to knock somebody for, what they think. But I don't think any of us will know the answer about Darnold until week 18. He's going to have his up, he's going to have his downs. You need a full season, full body of work before you make a fair evaluation of who's the future. All we know is that he's the now. So we got to support him, give him the best position to succeed, protect him. Receivers got to get open. Defense has to do their job to give them good field position, and we'll have a fair evaluation after week 18. But I think after 4 games, crowning him as the king or telling him he's not the answer, it's just way too premature. So I'll put that one on the back burner for now.
And well, if I could add something to that, I didn't know if y'all paid attention what they brought up during the game about Sam Darnold when he scored his rushing touchdowns. With 5 rushing touchdowns in 4 games, Sam Darnold is the only quarterback in the Super Bowl era to have 5 rushing touchdowns in 4 games. And to you can, I don't know if you want to charge that as a meaningless stat, but when you think about Sam Darnold, nobody thought of him as any type of ability to quote rushing touchdowns. He's not a Cam, he's not a Vic, he's not you know any of that or whatever. But I just thought that's a pretty cool you know um, stat that's going on. I mean, who would ever thought Sam Donald is leading the league in rushing touchdowns? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I mean, like I say, whatever you think about that stat, but they did. Matter of fact, Greg Olson was the one that brought that up when they was talking about it when he scored his second rushing touchdown. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to think about. Of all the quarterbacks that run the ball and score rushing touchdowns, Sam Darnold did something that had never been done before in the Super Bowl era. So hey,
yeah, man, and he's out there just doing his job, man. I mean, I don't know how you can pin this loss on him. I mean, I think it's clear the Jets didn't really tap into his full skill set and didn't really use him as a runner, didn't use him in goal line situations, and that probably why his production suffered while he was there. But it's just good to see Joe Brady being able to put him in situations where he can win, and he's having a career year so far. So let's just see how this plays out before we start making bold statements about his future. Maybe we can get Wayne to play left tackle for us. Probably better than what we have there now.
oh hell yeah, I'll vouch for him, man. He's been in the man, bro, be in the gym 5 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Burdette, man, come on, bro. Let's, shoot. I got some connections, man. I can see if I can get something done for you, man. She is, yeah, 6'6", 335. Yeah, that'll do good for us right about now.
I wish the Panthers would manage C-Mac when the game is out of reach. Got to blow teams out to do that, though, man. You can't take them out if it's these close nail biters we have, every week. I agree. I don't call it the it factor. Cam Newton had that. But think about Cam Newton is a borderline Hall of Famer, though. I mean, trying to put Sam Darnold to that standard is never going to live up to it. I mean, Cam was the all-time leading rushing touchdowns, and it's you gotta get over that someday and let Sam Darnold be the best Sam Darnold he could be. Not always compare him to what we've had before. And I think through 4 games, he's playing much better than any of us expected. So let's just see, what he's able to do the rest of the year. And I think let's just be fair. We don't have to anoint him as the next franchise quarterback. We don't have to down him and say he's not the answer. Let's let it play out. Let's get an 18-game body of work, hopefully more, and we'll make our decision this January or February. I think any talk of that right now is just premature. I thought the game changed after that missed field goal. Momentum just went away. I agree. I mean, I think I would have liked to punt there. I think when punting tells me you trust your defense, pin them back, play the field position game, and let your defense, try to make a play and force a turnover with Dallas pinned back in their own territory. I think with the kicking that field goal and giving them that kind of field position, was definitely one of the turning points in the game. I see y'all winning your division. Yeah, we're still 3-1. My favorite quote from Deion Sanders is how he looked at the season. Every 4 games, you want to go 3-1. So far, we're right on schedule as far as that goes. Again, I'll let Kev handle this one. But like I said, man, 4 games, it's just way too early to make strong predictions like this.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I can get, the pessimistic side of this offensive line. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. I see it. I've yet to see any marginal noticeable improvement in our offensive line play. It just goes more to giving more credit to Joe Brady's scheming and Sam Donald's pocket presence. Why this type of defensive pass rushing domination by opposing defense hasn't happened yet. But we was just put in a situation today where, it was just time to get exposed. So, when this film come out, I would pay good money to be in the film room when the offensive line coaches are looking at this with the players. Boy, I would love to know what that session gonna be like. Will.
Right. We will not get over. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the game. I think what I will say is don't overlook this Eagles team. I think they're a lot better record than what that 1-3 shows. So, I mean, it'll be a fun game. I think they got a lot of talent. Their quarterback, he's up and down, but he's a very good athlete, can make explosive plays. Devontae Smith is a superstar at wide receiver. He's starting to come into his own. We know their D-line. I mean, we saw what Fletcher Cox was able to do when Trey Turner was here. So imagine what these guys we got there now are going to have to deal with. So, I mean, it'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to getting past this and seeing what we got next week. Reasoning without any offense about the game again, he holds the ball. Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. I think there are some times where, you can assign sacks to the quarterback. Other times you can assign sacks to the offensive line. I think one of the 5 sacks I would have, Kev and Smooth have our own opinions on. I'll let Kev speak on it as well. But I think one of the sacks was on him. I think the running back did a cut block. The line had a nice little pocket for him. But I guess maybe somebody didn't get open downfield. He didn't anticipate. But I don't disagree with that. I think there are some sacks that we blame the offensive line for, but could be assigned either to 1, the quarterback holding the ball, or 2, the receivers not getting open downfield. So it's a team game, We just guys gotta do their job.
Yeah, I mean, you spot on with that assessment, Will. The sacks are something that, when you look at time in the pocket, compared to the type of play that's called, when you look at when it's a 3-step drop, you're expecting the ball to be out in 2 seconds. When it's a 5-step drop, you're looking more like 2.5, 3 seconds. And then obviously when it's a 7-step drop, you're looking at, protection of 3 seconds or longer for the play to materialize. So when you look at, what we had out there today based on what was called, you just have to be fair and just analyze what was a coverage sack, and what was just simply bad offensive line play. But I would say that one that you're talking about, where I think it was Hubbard. Yeah, he picked up the blitz and linebacker. Matter of fact, it was Parsons. Matter of fact, and he did a good job getting down. But he's so athletic. He got back up and still was able to get to the quarterback. That's just a hell of a play. Any other linebacker, without that type of athletic talent, I don't think would have gotten to him that quick. But you know, it, shit happens, man. On to the next play.
Schedule is very soft. I peek at it. I see 11, 12. I mean, I wouldn't say our schedule is soft. I think with our offensive line, we can't overlook any opponents. I mean, think about the Houston Texans. What we beat them by. It was a close game for 3 quarters. They lost 40-0 today. So, I mean, I don't think we can really take guys for granted. Let's just focus on Philadelphia, get better every week, and we'll see where we stand in a few weeks. I know we're all eager to learn about what this team's going to be, but we still got a lot of work to do, as we showed today.
Yeah, we're definitely not to be positioned to be arrogant enough to feel that way. Now, if we had the type of O line like that, I probably would be a little bit more agreeable, that it would be more favorable. But I think I get what he's saying, though, Will. I think that he looks at it and think, okay, this is an opponent that we definitely feel like we should have an opportunity to win, and I could agree with that, But at the same time, with the obviously Achilles heel that got exposed. Now, like I said, now teams gonna be like, okay, I know we don't normally power run, but this is what Dallas dominated with. Let's come out and let's have our own run heavy, offensive line, type of attack to see how they respond. Like I say, teams don't mind switching up what they normally do to attack and expose weakness. So again, we're gonna see. So don't be surprised if we don't see a lot of QB power runs. With a Jalen Hurts coming up.
Right.
What's the running back they got? With I think came from out of Penn State that they got.
Yeah, Miles Sanders.
Yeah, Miles Sanders. I mean, he's a guy that definitely can make plays. So don't be surprised if we don't see this Eagle team try to be more balanced, if not favoring towards the run, because based on what we saw, we didn't give them no reason to think that we can stop the run. So other teams are about to test us in that manner, even if that's not their traditional or their offense philosophy. So for this
Right.
week, the blueprint is until they stop it, man power blocking against the Carolina Panthers defensive front. And that's what
Right.
we're going to see. So don't be shocked to see it next week. Now, how we handle it, that's going to be the difference.
Right. Eagles got a Hall of Fame offensive line coach. I mean, one of probably the best ever. So, they're going to become ready.
Yeah. Now, they were missing 3 starters today. I don't know what the
Right.
final score was with the Chiefs that they had. I think both tackles were out and their right guard. But
It was 43-30. They still put up 30 points on KC.
yeah, without 3 of the offensive starters. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, you can't sleep on nobody like that.
What did we use 4 timeouts on? I think it was plays not getting in. I think one rule wanted extra time to think about a 4th down, going for it on 4th and 1. That actually worked out though. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You just gotta improve with that time management. Looked like we missed Horn more today than Dan Arnold. I mean, you look at Dak. I mean, he only threw the ball for 22 times. I think how much would a Horn helped against the run game? I mean, I think it was more of an issue of getting beat up front. I was happy with how Dante Jackson played. I mean, C.J. Henderson, I mean, it's too early to know what kind of impact he's going to have. Safety play could have been better. I think Burris was probably more of a loss. We saw Burris was more of a loss than J.C. Horn, I thought, in a couple of plays today. But, I mean, you got a lot of young guys out there that going to step up and play for us. We'll see what they do. To step up and get back. I mean, yeah, it's a good opportunity. You saw how Dallas was able to contain Hurts last Monday night. I think we have the ability to do a lot of things they do with getting pressure on them with our front 4. So let's just good game. We'll break down the Eagles tomorrow night. Make sure y'all tune in. So looks like that's all of our comments. You got anything else, Kev, before we call it a night and get back to this Brady Bowl?
Yeah, man. Nah, like I say, Panthers man, like I say, it was an ugly loss. It was a painful loss, but today it was still one loss. If you want to look at it from an optimistic side, we're 3-1 through the first quarter of the season. How many of us, when the schedule came out, thought we would be in that position? If you're kind of a pessimist, yeah, you got a right to be concerned about the now our run defense getting exposed, and obviously our offensive line, which me and Smooth have been talking about since free agency and draft started. Um, Main thing is we just got to see how this team respond. So I'm definitely looking forward to this time next week.
Right, just to get to this comment here. You remember Joe Brady when McCaffrey got hurt last year, he used Curtis Samuel in the backfield a lot. And I think DJ has that same ability and skill set. So I think it's a good idea. I mean, get the ball in his hands. He's probably the best yard after catch receiver in the league right now. So I like seeing that as well. But what did I tell you? The first time we lost the game, I said, oh, well, we're not going 17-0, right? That's all we know today. So it's still 3-1's a good position to be in.
Yeah, and with our division robbers, because the Falcons lost, the Saints lost. So
Right.
if New England want to do us a solid right here,
Yeah.
I lost today. Didn't give away that no give away our divisional lead. Heading into week 4. So and that's another point. People talking about look at our schedule. We play the same Giants that beat the Saints today. We got to play them. So
Right.
again, there's no gimmies whatsoever. That same Washington team that beat the Falcons, we got to play them too.
Right.
They put up
34,
34
34 to 30.
34 points. Yeah. So yeah, there's no such thing as looking at our schedule. Oh, that's a win. Nah, don't work like that.
Is there any reason to believe there's a free agent O-line guy? The thing I learned about O-linemen is when teams have good linemen, they rarely let them go. And if they do go, you're going to pay a hefty price for them in the trade market. That's why I just think it's best to draft and develop those kind of guys if you have the opportunity to. At this stage in the year, I wouldn't count on any big name. I mean, you got guys like DJ Fluker out there, but is he, he's a vet, been banged up. I mean, is he going to really upgrade over a John Miller at this point? So I think we just got to roll with the guys we got and address the offensive line next spring in the draft or free agency. And here it says, imagine if Dallas would have got Horn with Diggs on the team. Yep. Then they had J.C. Horn on their target.
Yeah, matter of fact, when we drafted him, that was the reason why they traded back a little bit,
Right.
a couple of spots, because that's what they wanted.
Thanks, fella. Yeah, we're gonna get back to doing the all 22 breakdowns. We got to get NFL Game Pass to stop acting up. I think they changed their system a little bit, makes it a lot more difficult, but I mean, we're still gonna do them. I think our defense. I don't think they underestimate it necessarily. You got to remember Dallas's offensive line, especially on the interior, is some very good players. Zach Martin, Tyler Biadasz. I just thought they did a good job of combo blocking, blowing our guys off the ball, and creating running lanes. What's the best way to deal with an edge rusher? You run at them. I think that's what they did today. So.
Hey, Will, you want to let our fans know about the super chat?
Yeah, I mean, we saw some super chat today. We appreciate Mike for helping us out. If y'all want to support the channel, that's a good way to do so. So that's something we're going to start doing on these post-game lives. So, I mean, it's only on YouTube, though. So if you feel you want to like the content, want to support the channel, you're more than welcome to, contribute on the super chat. Appreciate everybody for your support. Dallas is 21-0. I think I've seen when they run more than Dak throws. And that's not surprising. I mean, I think that's how they like to get going. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, they paid him the big contract. Tony Pollard's a good RB2. They're at their best when they can have a balanced offense and set up the deep balls to Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb downfield. Think about it. Before we log off for the night, Dante Jackson did an excellent job on CeeDee Lamb today. I mean, CD only had 2 catches for 13 yards the whole game. And I thought that pass interference call was kind of ticky-tack. So, I mean, we're continuing to see Dante Jackson play at a high level. So, I mean, he's definitely earning that contract extension.
Yeah, when you think about it, Amari Cooper, 69 yards. I mean, I think that was I think that's respectable as well. I think it was the plays by the tight end. It seemed like all his catches turned in the first down. Dalton Schultz. I think those were the gut punches that kind of like, dang it, like it seemed like his catches seemed to be the ones that really moved the chains for us. So I mean, for them rather.
He was taking some hits too, paying for those pitches. So we learned less dependent on TMC. I think they're starting to. I mean, we saw DJ Moore turn into a true number one wide receiver. So I mean, I'm looking forward to see how he continues to grow. Yeah, it's something we just got to get better at. I mean, Jeremy Chin, Shaq Thompson, those guys got to be better, get an improvement. Coverage against tight ends is something we've been struggling with for a few years now. Okay, I think that's the last comment right there. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night. We'll break down the upcoming game with the Philadelphia Eagles. Burn this tape, throw it in the garbage. Time to focus on Philly. Again, thank you everybody for your support. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow night. Keep pounding.
At 9 o'clock, right?
Yep, 9 o'clock sharp. So
all right.
Look forward to that one. All right, y'all.